Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a really exciting new agricultural study by Ahmed and colleagues. If you follow ag science, you already know about the constant push and pull between maximizing crop yields and, actually maintaining our soil health. We're looking at a fascinating piece of research that tackles this dilemma head on. It explores how we can absolutely get the best of both worlds in maize production through something called integrated nutrient management. Here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the global maize dilemma, then look at the 5 fertilizer treatments tested. After that, we'll check out the above-ground plant growth, below-ground root development, and the final grain yield, before wrapping up with the future of farming. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the global maize dilemma. Now, maize isn't just a side dish, right? It's literally a vital pillar of global food security. Just to put this into perspective, it provides at least 30% of the food calories for over 4.5 billion people across 94 developing countries. We're talking about a crop where global production has actually surpassed 1 billion metric tons. But to keep hitting those massive numbers, we're putting immense pressure on our agricultural soils. And to meet that staggering demand, farmers are facing a very real dilemma. On one hand, we've got inorganic fertilizers. You can think of these like a quick energy drink for crops. They act incredibly fast and give this reliable boost to plant height and yield. But they have a really short residual effect, and long-term overuse basically degrades the soil structure over time. On the other hand, we have organic fertilizers like Farmyard Manure. Now, these are more like hearty, slow-release meal. They do wonders for building up soil structure and moisture capacity, but they just release nutrients way too slowly. On their own, they usually aren't enough for high-demand crops like maize. That brings us to section 2, 5 fertilizer treatments tested. So to find a solution to this problem, researchers set up a controlled experiment with 5 distinct treatments. T1 is our unfertilized control group. T2 relies totally on inorganic nitrogen fertilizer. T3 uses just farmyard manure. T4 introduces something called humic acid. And T5? Well, that's the integrated powerhouse. It combines half the inorganic nitrogen, a solid dose of farmyard manure, and humic acid all into one single treatment. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is humic acid, and how does it fit into T4 and T5? Well, it's not a traditional fertilizer at all. It's actually a bioactive component of soil organic matter that acts as a biostimulant. Think of it like a daily vitamin supplement for the plant. It expands the root system, promotes cell elongation, and actively supercharges the plant's ability to absorb water and nutrients from the soil. Let's look at the results. Section 3, above-ground plant growth. A crucial metric for checking above-ground health is the leaf area index, or LAI. Basically, this measures how much solar paneling the plant has to capture sunlight. The unfertilized control, T1, is sitting down at 5.7. The purely chemical T2 treatment bumps that up to 8.4. But get this, the integrated treatment, T5, absolutely dominates canopy development, hitting an impressive LAI of 10.33. The published data here reveals a really fascinating mechanism. It turns out that combining mineral, organic, and biostimulant sources actually delays leaf senescence. That's just a fancy way of saying the leaves stay greener and active for way longer. It boosts the plant's ability to intercept solar radiation much better than any single source could do on its own. And this amazing canopy development directly translates into vertical growth. The researchers found that by week 3, T5 resulted in an incredible 47.6% increase in plant height compared to the control group. This really shows the immediate, tangible benefit of this integrated diet. The chemical fertilizer provided the quick cell division needed to grow tall, while the organic parts sustained that growth. Moving on to section 4, below-ground root development. Now, as we all know, a heavier root system means a plant can reach way more water and nutrients. Once again, the T5 integrated approach stimulated massive structural root proliferation. It hit 1,011.3 kilograms per hectare equivalent. That comfortably beats out both the unfertilized control and the sole inorganic fertilizer. This synergy happening under the soil is just undeniable. The combination of farmyard manure, which improves the physical soil structure, alongside humic acid, which enhances root cell division, created literally the perfect environment for root growth. To put that incredible root growth into perspective for a second, T5 produced a 101% higher root dry weight than the unfertilized control. It literally doubled the structural root mass. For a farmer, this is a game changer. It means significantly better soil exploration. The plant isn't just sitting there idly, it is aggressively foraging for exactly what it needs to thrive. All right, section 5, the final grain yield. All of this vegetative and root growth leads us to the ultimate test for any farmer, and the results at harvest definitely did not disappoint. Once again, T5 yielded the highest results across the board, bringing in a massive 3,165.9 kilograms per hectare equivalent. Obviously, it beat the unfertilized control, but crucially, it also beat out the high nitrogen, purely chemical approach. We so often think of synthetic nitrogen as the ultimate yield booster, right? But in this study, the integrated T5 treatment actually outperformed the quick fix of the purely inorganic T2 approach by 5%. That is huge because it proves you really don't have to sacrifice yield when you reduce chemical inputs, just as long as you replace them with smart integrated organic and biostimulant alternatives. And when you compare it to the unfertilized control, T5 increased the green yield by a remarkable 28%. This definitively proves the additive power of this integrated strategy. It's not just about swapping out chemicals, it's about building a fundamentally better, more efficient system for the plant to convert soil nutrients into actual harvestable green. Finally, let's wrap up with section 6, the future of farming. So what's the big takeaway from this explainer? It's really all about the power of a balanced diet for our crops. Inorganic fertilizer gives that immediate nitrogen hit needed for quick cell division. Then, Farmyard Manure steps in to build up the soil structure and hold on to moisture over the long haul. And humic acid acts as the ultimate catalyst, enhancing the root's ability to absorb the whole shebang. Combined, they give us the absolute best of all worlds, preventing the soil degradation caused by purely chemical farming while actually maximizing the yield. Now, the authors do note that the next step is wider field-scale validation across different environments, but man, this baseline data is incredibly strong. As we finish up, I want to leave you with a thought. We are facing this immense pressure to feed a population of billions, while simultaneously needing to protect our most precious agricultural resource, our soil, from total degradation. Based on the really robust data we've just unpacked today, we have to ask, is integrated nutrient management the ultimate key to sustainable global food security? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning how we grow our future.